Alright, today we're talking about coordinate plane. A coordinate plane, guys, is basically just two number lines. So last week we talked about number lines. Yeah? Number lines have just positives? No, they have positive and negative. Same thing on our coordinate plane. It's going to have a positive and a negative. You're going to notice on our notes today there are some funky parts from where it ran through on the copier. Kind of poorly. It messed up on the copier. So just go with the flow, guys. We're going to do the best we can with how the copy made it. Fortunately, on the homework, it didn't mess it up, just on the front side for some reason. All right, so a coordinate plane is an illustration that has, and let's see if I turn that on. That I feel like it's so hard to see. Is that better? Oh, yeah, that's better. That has an x-axis, and we're going to talk about what an x-axis is in just a minute, and a y-axis, and is numbered by integers. Integers was a vocabulary word from last week. Does anyone remember what an integer is? Ella?
Numbers.
They are numbers. What type of numbers? Mason?
Positive numbers.
Positive numbers? And negative numbers. So positive numbers and negative numbers are integers. What is not an integer? What would not be included in that? And Jason? Okay, so we wouldn't have, so signs, symbols, words wouldn't be included because they do have to be specifically just a number that's positive or negative. Micah?
The would be 85%.
That would be a percent, not an integer. So we can't have any sort of symbols or anything like that. Okay, so it wouldn't be like a percentage. You're right. What else can we not include? 0 is an integer. Jackson? Fractions and decimals. All right. So integers have to be whole. So they're positive and negative numbers, but they have to be a whole number. All right. So I want you to think back to your number lines from last week. We have put like some positive numbers on there. We put some negative numbers on there. All right. Did I ever put fraction numbers on my number line? No. Can I put a dot in between numbers to make a fraction? Yeah. Like I could put a dot in between 4 and 5 to say it's 4.5. But could I put 4.5 there? No. So my numbers have to be whole amounts. And it's going to be the same thing on this coordinate plane. It has to be whole numbers that are positive or negative, but we will include 0 in that as well, because 0 is not positive or negative. All right, so I want to talk about this x-axis. This x-axis is exactly like the number lines we were making last week. It goes side to side, from left to right, and it's going to go on forever and ever and ever and ever. Now, can we draw a picture that actually goes on forever and ever and ever and ever? No. So we put those arrows on the end to show it keeps going. Okay? Isn't that how we drew our number line, side to side? Yeah. The numbers forever and ever? Okay. So the x-axis is literally, it is your number line. Right? The y-axis is a number line, but instead of going side to side, your y-axis will go north and south, up and down. All right, it's still going to go on forever and ever and ever. It's still going to have positive and it's going to have negatives. This time, which direction do you think your positives would go? Up, and your negatives would go down. And we're going to look at that in just a moment. All right, so I want you to think about something. If I have an x-axis that's going side to side, okay, and I have a y-axis that's going up and down, are they eventually going to touch each other? Yeah, so they're eventually going to cross, and that's going to end up forming like this big T. Do y'all agree? Okay, where they cross, this spot right here where they're crossing each other, that is called the origin. All right? So we're going to say the origin is the point of intersection. The point of intersection of the x-axis and the y-axis. The point of intersection for the x-axis and the y-axis. What do you think is in the middle of the x-axis? Like if you think about the middle of your number line, what would be in the middle typically? 0. What do you think is in the middle of your y-axis? 0. So they're both going to intersect where the x and the y are both 0, because is 0 positive or negative? No, 0 is neutral. So we want them to cross where they're both neutral. So neither are positive or negative at that 0, 0. Are we okay with that? All right. Let's kind of look down here. We're going to look at some definitions and stuff. And we're still going to go back and talk about the origin in just a minute. But for right now, a coordinate plane. So here's a picture of a coordinate plane. All right. You can see here going side to side. That is the x. And y'all see right there where I circled, it has a little x there even to show you, hey, this is my x line. And then going up and down is my y line. The way I remember, guys, is I think all the way back to like elementary school when you learn about the uppercase Y. Isn't that typically how you learn to write an uppercase Y? Like back in like kindergarten. We probably don't write it like that anymore. But that is what we learned back in kindergarten. That's a capital Y. All right? The stick for my Y goes vertically up and down, just like my Y line. It seems silly, and it goes all the way back to kindergarten, but that's literally the way I remember to do that capital Y for my Y line for a really long time, lots and lots of years, okay? So, this helped me. If it helps you, awesome. If it doesn't help you, I'm sorry for wasting your time. Please remember the Y goes up and down, though, all right? So, there's some other information on this graph, and it's hard to read that first word, but here we can see that's supposed to say quadrant. All right, there are 4 quadrants, and those are formed by that T. And when I make that T, it created these 4 different sections. Do you see it? 1, 2, 3, and 4. All right, and when we name our quadrants, we always use Roman numerals. Some of y'all know Roman numerals, some of us don't. I only need you to know 4 of them. So quadrant 1, we're going to do a Roman numeral 1. All right, and you kind of go counterclockwise. Usually math makes sense. This is one of those things that I don't know why we don't go clockwise, but we go counter. So we have Roman numeral 1, then going backwards, Roman numeral 2, which looks like 2 capital I's smushed together. Okay. And then going around, we have Roman numeral 3, which is 3 I's grouped together. And then the 4, now Roman numeral 4 is the only one that looks really different. All right, it's going to be an I and then a V. Okay, now again, I just need you to know 4 Roman numerals. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Micah?
I've seen them before where it doesn't have the lines on top.
We want the lines on top. I think that's like sometimes if you're typing it in different sorts of fonts, it might not include it depending on the font, but we want to draw those. First, second, third, and fourth. All right, so each of these quadrants is going to be important. So later in our homework and in our notes, we're going to have to name the location. So like if you wanted to know where a point is located, we have these things called ordered pairs that give me the specific location. Then we also have these things called quadrants that give me a more general idea. So that would be like me saying, hey, you're on the 500 hall right now. Is that where we are?
Yes.
Versus saying, you are in Miss Sawyer's classroom right now. The quadrant is like saying, hey, you're on the 500 hall. The ordered pair is like saying, you are in Miss Sawyer's specific classroom. So one's just more general than the other one is. Okay? So let's talk about what an ordered pair is. So we know quadrants are the boxes. The ordered pair is the X and the Y. And some of y'all are like, what do you mean the X and the Y? It's the X number from the X line that goes across and the Y number from the Y line that goes up and down. These are also called coordinates. So the X would be the X coordinate, and the Y is the Y coordinate. All right. So some people, the way that they'll teach it is they'll say, okay, you're going to find a number on the x, find a number on the y, and figure out where they meet. And that is an excellent option. For me, sometimes I have trouble when the graphs get larger. Finding where they meet is a lot to try to follow. So instead, what I like to think about my x and my y, it's alphabetical. Did y'all notice that? Do you have to really try to think too hard about what comes first? No, it's just like in the alphabet. X is always first. X goes side to side. Yes? We agree with that? Y goes up and down. So the way I think about that is like when you're a baby. Okay? So when you're a baby, did you just wake up one day and decide, I'm going to start walking around the house? No. Before you started walking around the house, what did you do?
Crawl.
You crawled. You kind of like scooted around. Okay? All right? So you were crawling around. And then eventually, once you got big enough and you had enough to hold yourself up, then you would start walking up and down, yes? So we're always going to crawl first, side to side, and then we're going to walk up and down. So when I'm looking at my x, that's our left and right, and then the y is the up and down. You'll hear me say I'm going to crawl forward or crawl backward. I'm going to be really honest with you. I am not good at my left and my rights. So if you want to say you're going to crawl left and crawl right, that is absolutely fine. I'll usually say that's backwards, right? Or that's forwards, right? It's really for me because directionally I can be challenged a little bit. I still have to like hold up the L when I'm driving to figure out which way is left. Sometimes my husband will say, hey, turn right, and I will turn the complete wrong direction. So he has finally learned after being married to me for 3 years and us driving around in cars together for much longer, that you have to literally just like tap on the window. Like if you're wanting me to turn towards you, tap on that window. If not, tell me to turn towards myself. Don't give me left and right, so I'll mess it up, okay? So with that said, we're going to look at this first example. Sorry, I got on a tangent. We have 2, -5. So I'm going to put your pencil at the very center of the graph. All right? That first number is how I'm going to crawl. Now it is a +2. So am I going to crawl forwards 2 or am I going to crawl backwards 2? Forwards, because it's positive. That makes sense. We're good with that? Okay, so I'm going to crawl forwards. I'm going to go forward 1, 2 spaces. I still haven't put anything there. I just got my pencil there. Okay, so I crawled 2. Have I walked anywhere yet? No. Where does it tell me to walk? What number does it say? -5. So am I walking up 5 or am I walking down 5? Down because it's negative. So now I'm going to count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I did my crawling. I did my walking. I'm ready to put a dot there. All right. Make sure your dot is where those lines actually cross. Okay, and then I'm going to write an A, because if I put all these dots on there, am I going to know which dot is which? No, so I'm just going to put an A next to that dot. Say, hey, this dot is A. That's really to help me when I grade your paper, so I know which one is which. Okay. All right, so now let's do B. So again, we're going to put our pencil at the very beginning, put it at the origin and the center where they cross. Where does it tell me to crawl, Amelia? What's my first number that tells me to crawl? So we're looking at this graph, this point. -3. So when I crawl, am I going to go forwards 3 or backwards 3? Backwards because it's negative. So we're going to count 1, 2, 3. All right. Where does it tell me to walk, Ella? Where does it tell me to walk? 0. Yeah, I don't. Oh, sorry. No, that's it's supposed to be a 0. Sorry, that's my bad handwriting. Okay, that's supposed to be a 0. So we went back 1, 2. Sorry, 1, 2, 3, and now it says to walk 0. So am I walking up or down? No. So I'm just going to put a dot on that line. Again, guys, remember how when we did number lines and I fussed at y'all when y'all put y'all's dots on top of the line? Because now they've got to be where it crosses. So it has to be in the middle. Do y'all see how it's in the middle of that line right there? Dead center. Yes, that is a perfect description. And that's going to get the letter B. Okay? All right, so let's crawl and walk again. So I'm going to put my pencil at the center. This time I'm graphing my C right here. All right, to graph C, where are we going to crawl and where am I going to walk? Jason? I'm crawling 0. So am I crawling forward or backward? No. Nope. Now what, Jason? Up or down? So it's walking, so we're going to go up, 1, 2, 3, 4. Since it's positive, we went up. And I'm going to label that C. Okay. All right, let's put our pencil in the center again. My last one. Mason.
Say curl 5.
Okay, which way is that going?
Right.
To the right, which is forward, right? Okay, so we're going to go to the right or forward 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And now what?
Go up 3.
Up 3 since it's positive. 1, 2, 3. And we're going to put our dot and label it D. All right, so I love how a lot of you are like, this seems easy. Hopefully so. Guys, the only thing that people mess up on, and that's why I do the crawling and walking. We crawl and walk all day. Crawl first, then walk. Because people mess up when they try to do it the wrong direction. They'll try to do their up and down before going side to side. All right? So, one last question on this little section. What about the origin? What if I wanted to say the ordered pair for the origin? What is my X and my Y for that center dot? What would the X and the Y be for that center dot? Micah? 0, 0. Did I crawl anywhere?
No.
Nope. Did I walk anywhere?
No.
Nope. So the ordered pair here, and let's write that in, would just be 0, 0. The ordered pair for the origin is 0, 0. All right. We're going to move it down and look at some examples, and then we'll flip it over and start our homework together. Okay, it says write the ordered pair that names each point. So we have A, E, and this is supposed to say F. That's supposed to say F right there. All right, A, and you can tell, guys, these should be evenly spaced apart. The copier went crazy on me. I'm sorry. We're just going to count the lines that it gives us, even though it didn't space them correctly, okay? But let's start with A, though. A is nice and spaced correctly. Who can name the ordered pair for A? Griffin, give it a try.
-3.
Okay, so look close. Make sure you look at where the dot is, though. So -4. So we're going to start at 0, count 1, 2, 3, 4. Now I'm above it. Now what? So we got -4 as our crawling because we went backwards. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now what do I need to do, Griffin? Go down how many? 1, 2, 3. So what number would that be? -3. So we went backwards, so we did a -4. Then when I went down, so I did a -3. All right, what about E? Name E for me, Ethan. 2. We're going forward 2, and then what? 2, and then we went up 1, so it's 1 for a positive 1. Awesome job. All right, F, Tyler? 0, very good. And -2. So if I start at the origin to get to F, do I need to crawl side to side anywhere? No, it's right underneath, so I didn't crawl, so I put 0, and then he said -2 because we went down. Awesome job. Don't flip it over yet. I forgot to put in our notes that we need to name the quadrants. So let's add that on here, quadrant, because we're going to have to do it on our homework, okay? All right, what quadrant is A located in? So if I look at A right here, what quadrant is this box? Micah? It would be the third quadrant. Perfect. So I'm going to make that 1, 2, 3, third quadrant. Okay, what about E? So E is in this box up here. What box would that be called? Mason?
1.
The first quadrant. Quadrant 1 or the first quadrant. Either way is fine. That's fine. Okay, and then F. Now, guys, this is a trick question. I want you to think, look at where F is. What quadrant is F located in? Answer very carefully. It is a trick question. Griffin? Mm-mm. Juanita? Mm-mm. Jake?
2.
Nope. Jordan?
It's in the origin.
Mm-mm. Mason?
The Y.
That is actually correct. Okay? So, Mason got it correct. So, guys, let's look at this, please. Thank you. All right, so a lot of us saw the F. Remember, the dot is on the line, right? So I don't care that the letter F was written in the fourth quadrant. That was a good guess. All right, I care about where the dot is. Is the dot actually in this box? No. Is the dot in the third box? No, the dot is on the line. So it's not actually in a quadrant, but Mason's correct. The location of it is the Y line, which we would call the Y-axis. So I'm going to put Y-axis. So that was a trick question because it wasn't in a quadrant. We would have to write down Y-axis. All right? So Jordan did have a good guess. I want to talk about her guess real quick. F wouldn't be the origin, but what if I had a dot just in the middle of everything? That would be the origin. Would I say X-axis? No, because it's also on the Y, which is why we would have to name it with the origin, okay? So if it's in the very center, we would name the origin. If it's on one of the lines, we name the line. If it's in a box, you name the box. All right. Let's flip that over. All right, what we're going to do, guys, is there are 30 problems. We're going to do this first side together, and you are going to finish the second side on your own. We are going to do the first side together, and then you will do the second side on your own. So you will be doing the even, all right? Well, we are going to be doing 30 questions. Okay. My advanced class we did one of each type together, but they needed to do the whole thing on their own. We're going to do a little bit extra together just to make sure we know what's going on. All right, so for number 1, I need to name, so I'm going to use this graph right here, and I need to name the letter that matches with that ordered pair it gives me, okay? So Gage, I'm going to get you help me for number 1. I'm going to put my pencil starting in the center. If I crawl -2 and walk 4, what letter will I end up at? Okay, so do it with me. So I've got my pencil in the middle. To crawl -2, which direction are we going? Left. So I'm going to go back 1, 2. And then to walk 4, where am I going? Up 4. So then we go up 1, 2, 3, 4. And where did I end up? S. So make sure we're crawling and walking the right direction. Okay? Number 3. Help me out with number 3. Adrian? Where am I going to crawl? Where am I going to walk? On number 3. We got 4, 4. Forward 4. And then? Up. 1, 2, 3, 4. And we ended up at? U. Wow, my handwriting could use some help today. U. All right, number 5, starting at that center point. All right, crawling and walking. Where am I going? Alina?
We're going right 3.
To the right 3 or forward 3, and then?
And then we go up 5.
Up 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we ended up at? W. All right, and then number 7, last one. Crawl and walk for me. Brianna?
You go
Back 1, and then? Up 3, and we were at? Y. Very good. Okay, the next 4, in my opinion, are a little bit harder. It says, please use the coordinate plane above. So that's talking about that same coordinate plane we just used. Write the ordered pair that names the point. So we want an ordered pair. Then identify the quadrant. So I need 2 different things. So let's start with K. We're going to do the first part with the ordered pair, and then we'll pick the quadrant. So first, let's find K. There's K. Did everyone find K on your graph? Find it. Okay. What ordered pair would go with K? What would be the ordered pair to go with K? Madison? 1, 3. Perfect. So we went forward 1, so it's positive 1. And then we went up 3, so it's positive 3. You have to have those parentheses. So please make sure you have the parentheses. Those are very important, or else you just listed 2 numbers. All right, but once you put those parentheses around it, that's when we have the ordered pair that's grouped together. All right, what about the quadrant? What quadrant is K in? Juanita? The first quadrant. I'm going to write it on here just in case I need it for later. So that's going to be the first quadrant. And I wrote it in my answer. All right, M. Carlos, can you tell me, how would I name M? What would the ordered pair be? It's way down here. Take some time to locate it before counting it. It's going to be easier to count on your paper. All right, what would M be, the ordered pair?
5.
Okay, 5. We go over 5. Good, and then?
-3.
Close, not -3, but -1, 2. Perfect. Excellent choice on the negative. So we have 5, -2. What quadrant is M located in? What quadrant is M located in, Jackson? The fourth one. So that's where we have that IV. IV. Okay. O. Name O for me. What would the ordered pair be? Jake. All right, so make sure you're going where that dot is. So not where the O is, but where the dot is. So if I start here, I'm going to the left just one time. So what type of 1 would I need? A -1, a -1. And then what?
Then go down 5.
Down 5, so what type of 5? A minus, because we're going down -5. Okay, what quadrant is O located in? Jordan?
O is located in the 3rd quadrant.
The 3rd quadrant. Did you have a question?
No.
Perfect. All right, and I'm going to put my 3 up here just in case I need it for in a few minutes when I have to do the side by myself. All right, what about Q? Last one. So Q is way up here at the top. Find Q. What would I name Q? Nancy. Okay, very, very close. 3 would be going forward. -3 because we're going back. And then a +5 because we went up. So 1, 2, 3 backwards. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 up. Very good. What quadrant is Q located in, Griffin? The second one. So that's my 2 I's, and I'm going to label that one as well. Okay? So hopefully you have all those labeled. That'll help you out when you have to do them on your own. All right, the last section that we're doing, we get to put the dots on the graph. Y'all, this is my favorite thing to do with graphing. I don't know why. I just think it's the most fun and it's the easiest. But I am a math teacher, so that just automatically puts me in the weirdo category. Okay, so A. I want to graph A. So starting at the origin, putting your pencil at the origin, where do I need to go to graph A? Micah? I'm sorry. Jackson?
You need to go backwards 5 times.
Backwards 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And?
Go up 2.
Up 2. 1, 2. And I'm going to put my dot in the middle of all that cross section and label it A. And then I'm just going to put a check mark on that one so I know I did it. Okay, there's really not anything you can write over here. I just like to put a check so I don't accidentally graph things twice. All right, number 19, so now we're graphing J. How would I graph J? Brianna? Which way? To the right, forwards 1, and then? Down 3. 1, 2, 3. Put your dot in the middle of all that cross section and J. Okay? Check mark. Number 21. How would I graph 21? Amelia?
To the right.
To the right, so we're going forward. 1, 2, 3, and then?
Up 3.
Up 3. 1, 2, 3. You guys, most of the time when I give you a graph, I'll try to put numbers on it. Okay, but these numbers are really small. Oh, that's not supposed to be a 3. That's supposed to be a C. Sorry, I cannot talk and write. Let me stay focused, okay? But when the numbers are small like this, it's only going to 5. it might not have numbers. Okay. All right, so C's done. Check. L. Where's L going to go? Jason?
So, the first one is go left. No, you stay.
Yeah. So the first one's 0, so we're not going to go left or right. We're just going to stay there.
And then we're going to go down.
And then we're going to go down 1. So that's my L. Okay. E. E. Where do you think that's going to go? 1? Forward, how many? 3. 1, 2, 3, and then? Down. 2 times. Perfect. Put your dot in the cross section, and that is E. Okay. All right, check mark. All right, N. Where's N going? Griffin.
Right 1 time.
Okay, forward 1.
And up 5.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Up 5. So my N is way up there on the top. And then Alina, number 29. G.
Number 29, G, is
Okay. So with that first number, am I going backwards or forwards?
you're going backwards.
Backwards 1. And then what am I going to do?
Then you're going to go down
Mm-hmm.
4.
Down 4. So we went back 1, then down 1, 2, 3, 4. Just be careful with your counting. It's kind of like, in my opinion, this part is kind of like when you're playing a game and you're counting your moves. That's what it makes me think of. Like playing a board game. All right. So you are finishing the other half right now.